Bonjour à tous et bienvenue à un nouveau épisode du F1 My Team. Alors aujourd'hui, nous sommes ici à le Circuit Paul Ricard à Le Castellet. Translated, welcome back everyone to a brand new video, and today we are here at the Circuit Paul Ricard. Mate, my French was on point on that one. That was very good, happy with that one. One take as well. But today, yes, the French Grand Prix. Very excited about this one. Like, subscribe if you're also excited for the episode. And also, if you haven't seen the previous one at Canada, then go check it out. Link up in the top right. But this weekend, you can see in the background, Red Bull make a massive step forward in terms of performance as they bring a massive upgrade. We are locked in that midfield fight right now with Ferrari, both Alpha teams and Alpine, and it's going to be pretty close. We've got some more upgrades on the way, and we have our first ultimate one on the way for the electrical systems on the durability. Elsewhere this weekend, the weather forecast looks to be dry, so it's going to be a fairly routine race weekend in regards to the French Grand Prix. We went through the practice programs, done Friday practice, the usual routine, and it seems like we are a little bit off the pace around it this weekend. We managed to succeed though, nonetheless, in all of our programs, and we scored maximum points. So a good start to the weekend as we jump into qualifying. So I'm kind of banking on the track rubbering in, picking up a bit of pace, and we can just kind of like generally improve a little bit. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. As you can see, getting ready and getting into the zone for qualifying as we kick off things with Q1. Now, you join me at the end of my first lap in this session, and to be fair, it was a really good bank up. The one part of it that let me down was the final corner. I just didn't quite get the car slowed down or rotated. You'll see here, I tried to push it and I just completely missed the apex, and then I just understeered as well right off the track. I had no front end for some reason there, and we finished the lap, but we lost quite a bit of time on that final corner. We finished with a high 27 ahead of Lundgaard and Latifi, but behind Raikkonen and Russell, and eventually we dropped down to P17, so we need this lap to get through. So let's jump into it. Let's see if we can pull something out the bag. We need to find about half a second on this lap, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. I'm going to let you enjoy the engine sounds, because the lap itself I was actually quite happy with. It was pretty clean, so let's jump into it. And there we go, across the line. It's a big lap. We improved by 3.5 tenths. Will it be enough? There was one small mistake, which was, I believe, the third from last corner, the off-cambered left-hander. I just didn't get the right line, and I just didn't get the exit speed, and I lost about 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. But then again, I don't know if we had enough to get out of Q1. If you look at the gap to Giovinazzi, it's just over a tenth of a second. I don't know if we had that. I mean, when the margins are that small, you always think you probably could have found something, but I was quite happy with the lap. It felt pretty good for me, so I don't know if we would have done it. So I'm not too disappointed, even though we're out in Q1, because we maximised the car in many ways, and it doesn't feel too bad. We've gone quite aggressive on the aero, so we're quite good in the corners. We're very slow on the straights, so that could work out for us in the race in terms of, with heavier fuel, having better downforce might be the way to go. So yeah, that's it for qualifying. We're now going to jump into the race, and we're going to see if we can try and turn this one around. And there we go, across the line. It's a big lap. We improved by 3.5 tenths. Will it be enough? There was one small mistake, which was, I believe, the third from last corner, the off-cambered left-hander. I just didn't get the right line, and I just didn't get the exit speed, and I lost about 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall that entire corner. And then I lost 3/4 of a tenth to a tenth overall
Here we are again then at Le Castellet for another round of this year's Formula One World Championship. Renault took their first French Grand Prix win all the way back in the inaugural race in 1906, but it was another 73 years before they could take their second. I'm sure Alpine will be pushing hard to delight the local fans here today. The Circuit Paul Ricard then, a 3.6 mile track, 25 miles east of Marseille. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, with the main overtaking chance expected going into turn 8. Top speeds today should be around 205 miles per hour. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Now, I want to ask you about Lando Norris. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo, a strong showing from the Australian. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Norris, Bottas, Max Verstappen and Perez, Vettel, Stroll, Leclerc and Pierre Gasly, Sainz, Russell, Esteban Ocon and Tsunoda, Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Martinez and Mick Schumacher, Mazepin, Latifi, Lundgaard. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Well then, here we are, P17 for the French Grand Prix. Not really the best qualifying, I have to be honest. The pace doesn't seem to be there this weekend. I don't know why. We seem to have a much better time last season around this track, but either way, we're going to try and fight back. Traditionally, the race pace is pretty strong, so I still feel like points are achievable, and I want to try and keep that point streak going. So far, 6 out of 6 this season. I want to try and make it 7 out of 7. So hopefully, guys, back me for the ride here today. If you're excited for the race, leave a like, and let's jump into it. Let's see what happens, and fingers crossed we can try and deliver those big points this afternoon. Now, strategy-wise, as you can see, we're going to try to make the medium to hard tyre strategy work. I feel like this could be the way to go. I was considering starting on the hard tyre and then go for the medium afterwards, but I feel like I want to have some kind of pace in the first part of the race on medium, so I want to try and make this work. Fuel-wise, 27 laps on the nose, no more, no less. And yeah, we're going to jump into things and see what happens. So let's send it and hope for the best. Okay, here we go. 5 lights. Going to get those revs optimised. Lights out, away we go. Good start. We get Giovinazzi straight away, who started on the hard tyre. We've got Raikkonen on the hards as well. Here goes Mazepin up the inside into turn 1. Bit of a lunge from the Russian as we try to go on the outside of Giovinazzi at turn 2. Going to give him the old squeezerino, but he's going to keep his nose in there. We're going to go to the outside and try and make this work. Outside again through here. Oh yes. Oh yes. Perfect. Loads of space there. Side by side with Tsunoda. We're going to let him just get edge ahead of us. We'll try and line him up for the back straight. Here we go. Oh boy, looks like we're a little bit slow on the straight by the looks of it. May have to address that in the pit stops with the front wing adjustment. Raikkonen having a look up the inside, but that's never going to work for you, Sunshine, on those hard tyres. So P15 for us. 2 places gained. Don't mind that. And we've cleared the hard tyre runners, which is the main thing. So let's see how the race pace is. I'm going to kind of use Kimi as a rear gunner. He should potentially hold up everyone else behind. Dare I say, drop out of DRS range on that slower tyre. So let's see if we can find our race pace here today and make something happen. I feel like we can still be optimistic. We just need to make sure we nail both stints and the strategy works out for us. We are very, very slow on the straight. Our top speed is non-existent. I've gone a bit too high on the old aerodynamics, so we're going to have to be bold and make overtakes work in corners quite aggressively really to make this work, because I don't think I'm going to change my wing in the pits because we're going to the hard tyre which has no grip anyway, so we need this downforce. So yeah, we're going to have to work hard here as DRS now gets enabled. Tsunoda just about hanging on to that 1 second window to Carlos Sainz.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Meanwhile, Raikkonen now out of range. Let's try and get Tsunoda on the back straight here. Lovely. Good grip through there, good traction. Onto the back straight. I don't want to drain my battery, preferably. We'll just use the old slipstream method with some DRS to help us here. Go to the outside. And there we go. Swoop around the outside. Lovely move. Nice and clean. Tsunoda leaves plenty of room. And we're up to P14, so 1 place gain. Let's get after Ocon and Sainz next. Let's try and get within that 1 second gap so that I can get DRS and not lose to the cars ahead too much ground. Oh, yellow flag. It's Carlos. He's blown up right in front of us. Let's try to avoid having contact with him if possible. But there we go, another place gained for free. The only thing is, that's dropped us out of DRS range of Ocon.
Okay, clear.
No safety car, no VSC. So far, we've not had one this season, I don't think. So it's quite interesting. But we're going to move up to P13. Ocon is next, then it's Russell after that. So let's keep pushing here.
Some information on Ocon. They seem to have an issue.
Oh my god, he's literally just... I think he got a left rear puncture. I'm pretty sure of that. I just saw that go. What has happened on the same lap? 2 positions given to us out of nothing from thin air. And now it's a yellow flag, so Ocon having issues here. Up to P12 we go. Thank you very, very much. That is unbelievable. On the same lap, 2 issues. 2 failures. Sainz breaking down and then Ocon having, I believe, a tyre puncture. Right, well, let's go after George Russell. We've got a bit more work to do to get that gap down, 3.7 seconds. So we're going to have to try and find a bit of pace here. The pace just isn't there, man. We can't catch Russell, and the guys in the top 10 on soft tyres are just driving away from us. They're so much quicker. We're going to need a bit more luck this race, and I think I've had all the luck I can get realistically, so it's going to be a tough one, this one.
Green flag.
Oh, I'll say that doesn't be too soon. Oh, okay, I think Aaron Barnes is out of the race. That yellow flag's behind us. But yeah, we need strategy to come through for us here, because on pace, we're nowhere today. Absolutely nowhere. Pace and straight line speed. Up into the top 6 we go.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
I'll have a cheeky look at that in a second. Barnes has got going, so it looks like he may have had a spin.
Okay, copy that. Say again, you're breaking up.
So did you copy that, or am I breaking up? Like, Jeff, give me clear instructions here, mate. Come on. Anyway, so we're looking pretty decent right now strategy-wise. I'm just trying to manage my tyres and not take too much out of them, but Russell's too fast for us, so he's going to be the lead car on the alternate strategy. The good news is we are pulling away from everyone else behind us. So we're faster than Yuki, we're faster than Kimi. Just kind of driving into the unknown, really. So the remaining cars on softs are now in the pit lane, so we're going to move up into P2 behind George Russell. Another good lap from us, just a couple of tenths off my personal best, so we're not looking too shabby here. First warning for track limits. Just got a bit of oversteer there and had to make a slight correction, which meant I ran over the white line. Keeping the gap to George now, pretty similar to be honest, but no big moves so far. All the fast guys are stuck in traffic. They're all stuck behind the one-stoppers, so Tsunoda, Raikkonen and Giovinazzi kind of acting like a bit of a shield for us really this race, and we just got to keep driving at this pace to try and pull away as much as possible before the fast guys come through. I've got to say the pace is really strong right now. I'm getting faster and faster. No personal bests, but the micro sectors and little things I can tell my pace, I'm actually lapping faster. If I had DRS right now, I'd be doing personal best every lap. Pace is really strong. Hamilton now up to P3, but the gap to Russell has dropped to as low as 3.5 at one point, so we definitely are closing in on George slightly, and I'm just staying very consistent on these times, which are getting older, but we're still maintaining that pace. Every lap that goes by, I'm considering switching to a soft tyre stint for my second stint of the race and getting off the hard tyre, so we'll see how it goes. George Russell pits, so we're going to take the race lead for at least a lap. Hamilton's closing in, but he's not super fast compared to my pace. We're actually holding our own right now. Seems like the pace is getting better as the fuel burns away. We're going to keep going.
In this lap,
I think I'm going to go for the softs, so we're going to ignore that command and stick to our guns here. We're still holding it down. Hamilton now closing in, but we are definitely going to stretch this to a set of softs without a doubt. Now George Russell should be the net race leader once everyone does their second stop and I do my first one. So it's going to be all of us trying to chase down George Russell for the race win. Right now, technically, we are battling Hamilton for net P2 position, I believe. Realistically, though, I don't think I'm going to fight him because there's a bit of a gap to Lando, so we can work together here to my benefit. I think we're going to pit now, end of lap 16. I might try and stretch it to 17. It depends if I can keep within Lewis's DRS. I want to try and keep him behind until the back straight though. Right, we'll let Lewis go here. I'm not going to use any ERS. We'll try and charge up. And we'll let him just crack on with it. There we go. We'll just get into the slipstream. Hopefully he can drag us with him. We'll try and pit lap 17 for softs. That's going to be the aim here. If we can pull that off, we're going to be in a very good position. You can see that snap there on the rears, just starting to struggle on tyre wear now. I want to try and hold on to Hamilton's DRS for the next lap if possible. Okay, Ricciardo was the first car to blink, and he pit on the last lap. I'm expecting everyone else to pit this lap, including ourselves. We're going to box the soft compound tyres. Here we go. Make sure we nail the pit entry. Hamilton in, and we're going to follow him in. Get it all slowed down to 60. Very nice. That pit entry was right on the money, that was. This is massive, by the way. From P17 on the grid, we're going to somehow fight for like a top 5 out of nothing. You know, we've got terrible straight line speed, and the pace hasn't been there all weekend. But, you know, on strategy round, if you can make the medium tyres work and make the strategy work, you've got a chance. Soft tyres for us. Hamilton onto mediums. Oh, it's a slow one, man. We got held unnecessarily long. But still, we've got the tyre advantage. Russell on hards up ahead.
Okay, you only have to stop once now. One stop left.
I mean, look at this. We've rejoined a net P4. That is insane. I don't think, even on the fresh softs, we're not going to have the pace of Lewis, Lando, or Verstappen. But still, we can try and keep up with them for the rest of the race. That's going to be the plan. Let's chase down Russell for that P3. So Sergio Perez is the last car to pit. So we're going to move back up to P3 in this race. And the hunt for George Russell begins. Lando's looking pretty fast. Look at the speed difference. I did actually get my front wing reduced by 1 in the pit, so we should have a bit better straight line speed, but I just think we're so far down in the speed trap, we can't really match up here today. I'm tempted to let Lando by, to be honest. I don't want to waste time on ERS battling him. I'd rather follow him. Our target is Russell, where I think we can catch and overtake. So if we can finish in P3 at the end of this, I'll be very happy. So let's see what Lando does. I'm not going to defend. I'm going to try and see if I can stick with him using all of my ERS. That's the plan here. So I'm going to let him take the race in line. That way we lose absolutely no time whatsoever. And Lando can just show me the way. And I'll just follow him and do what he says. All right, let's do this. Let's try and get that podium. This is working perfectly for us. The pace is very strong. I can just keep up with Lando, and he's dragging me along with DRS perfectly right now. Personal best 28.4, 0.6 faster. And now Hamilton is battling Russell. This is what we want, to try and close the gap. Second warning for track limits. I'm on the edge now. Got to be careful to not get a third and final one. That would be devastating at this stage of the race. Russell's just 2 seconds away.
Laps of fuel remaining.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Jeff. Let's try and stick with Lando. He's just starting to pull away a little bit. My tyres are just starting to go. You can see 29% on the left front. We are using our front tyres quite a bit, especially now I've taken a bit of front wing off. We're using our fronts even more, which is not ideal. Lando smells blood, and so do I. I want to try and be close so that I can pass Russell. I want to kind of stick to this strategy, so once we pass George, I want to stick with Lando to the end, because it's also helping us pull away from Ricciardo and Verstappen. So here goes Norris against his good mate George Russell into the chicane. Gets the job done. I'm going to set up the cutback here. Look at that. Great traction out there. Now we're going to use our ERS and a little bit better straight line speed from the front wing adjustment to get on the inside of Russell here into Senior and get the move done. Let's try and stick with Norris. Maybe we can try and nick a P2, but I'm starting to struggle on front end grip now. McLaren is so fast, man. Lando's pace is relentless. I'm literally hanging on now by a thread. Obviously I've got plenty of ERS still, but I'm trying to not blow it all out at one go. We are dropping George. The gap is 1.6. He's now out of DRS range. So this is going to help us secure P3 hopefully. 2 laps to go. And we've got a yellow flag behind.
Okay, clear.
This could be big. It's a Red Bull. It's Perez out of the race. Okay. Luckily it's a bit late, so I don't think we're going to see a safety car. Or even a virtual, so I'll happily take that. Let's just bring this home now. Oh boy, tyre wear orange, engine wear orange. A few parts of the car now starting to get a bit second hand, but this is going to taste very sweet. From P17, after qualifying, a strategy masterclass and insane race pace out of nowhere is going to give us a P3 and yet another podium in our second season. Get in, yes.
Yes, that's a podium. Excellent drive. The team have worked especially hard this weekend, and this is a fantastic reward.
We've witnessed some great battles around Paul Ricard today, and they've taken a fantastic win. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Well, there we go then, job done for the race as Lewis Hamilton picks up a massive win for the World Championship. McLaren were building some serious momentum, so Hamilton needed that result here today. Lando Norris P2, we finish in P3 and on the podium, which is incredible. Ricciardo P4, George Russell in a very strong P5 for Alpine ahead of Lance Stroll. Verstappen, Vettel, Leclerc and Bottas round out the top 10. So Valtteri having a bit of a poor race here today. Missing out on the points, Tsunoda, Giovinazzi, Gasly, Raikkonen, Ocon, Schumacher, Lundgaard, Latifi, Mazepin, Barnes, and then Perez and Sainz out of the race. So what does this mean for the World Drivers' Championship? Again, another pretty interesting one. Up front, Lando leads by 2 points over Lewis, who, recovers a bit of ground. We are currently P5, 12 points ahead of Max Verstappen, equal on points with Valtteri Bottas, which is unbelievable. So things are looking very, very strong. Russell up to 12th as well with that strong points finish. In the Constructors, we're P5, and we are pretty much double the points of Ferrari, so we are actually pulling away, and we're still just 15 points behind Red Bull, so we are still in that mix. If we can hang in there and keep doing these results until we get a decent teammate at the halfway stage, we could be one to watch out for in the second half of the season. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for the race. We're now going to move into upgrades.
Who would you say is your biggest rival at the moment?
Well, it's tough to say, but I think Sergio won the last one just, so I want to try and get my revenge on him, to be honest.
Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing.
Yeah, I hope so. We're working hard, but we can't get complacent. We've got to keep pushing.
Appreciate your time.
Now then, after that race, some pretty decent acclaim to be gained as a team, but still nothing's really happening now. The needle doesn't really move anymore because we're quite high up now in terms of level, so it's kind of irrelevant at this stage. So we look at the cash bonuses, cash payouts. All sponsors pay out maximum amount, which is awesome, so we're going to get a nice bit of money. Quite a few damages on my end. I believe that may have been underfloor damage from running over the curbs all weekend long, and the total cash nearly at $15 million. Now, it's a pretty short turnaround until the next race in Austria, so we're going to go ahead and first of all do some activities. Looking at the options we have, realistically, I'm going to do a podium celebration party to improve team morale and just give the team something to kind of, feel upbeat for and kind of improve the vibe around the camp. So we'll go for that. We do have an upgrade for the intercooler arriving just before the Austrian Grand Prix. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more upgrades on this case, probably just one. Looking at the options we have available to us, everything's getting quite expensive now, so it's not going to be easy, but I think we're going to go for the lightweight wheel rims for weight reduction. So we're going to go ahead, get that on the car, and that should help us out massively in the chassis department, hopefully take a big step forward. With that said, we can skip ahead now, and fingers crossed the intercooler upgrade arrives. Good news, the intercooler has arrived. We are looking strong for the next race, a power circuit in Austria with a fresh engine upgrade. So very happy with that. We may consider taking some new components as well for this race to try and give us a bit of an edge in terms of engine performance. So yeah, overall, a great day at the office, guys. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. As you guys know by now, for that podium, I think this video at least deserves a like. As always, check out the 2 videos on screen right now if you haven't seen them. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.